Hey, lovelies. So, this is Janelle, the relationship coach behind The Successful Invisible. And I wanted to do a follow up video or a part two video on this because this kind of blew up and I got a lot of comments on it. And I felt it would help round this out. So, I might be that friend today. The one who's too observant and too honest, maybe just a little too quote unquote woke. So, we talked about Taylor Swift's Opalite in the prior video concerning this, but I also want to go into her dating history a little bit and talk more about her former partners, maybe some of the scandal involving those former partners, and then who those former partners are with today. So, if you're interested, check this out, comment below. If you want to go deeper to find great, amazing resources to help you date with more intentionality, click on the links below and join my coffee community where you will find interactive exercises and a whole bunch more so you can be more intentional and engaged in who you date.
I'm about to be the friend that's too woke. Opalite made me feel nasty inside. I've seen people talk about Taylor punching down on this album in reference to like the whole Charlie XCX song, but I haven't seen anybody talk about it in terms of Opalite. And I just couldn't think of anything else when listening to the song because for me personally, I became familiar with Travis Kelce as the white football player who only dates black women. And then he started dating Taylor Swift and now they're engaged, so like that's not the case. But there's a verse on the song Opalite where she's referring to one of his last relationships. And I'm like, oh, maybe not doing that. Maybe not referring to a black woman that he used to date in absentia. You as the most famous pop star in the world who is also a thin, wealthy white woman. This is the verse. You couldn't understand it, why you felt alone. You were in it for real, she was in her phone, and you were just a pose. And don't we try to love, give it all we got? You finally left the table, and what a simple thought. You're starving till you're not. Well, it would be one thing if he had been only in like private relationships and people didn't know who any of his past exes were. But he literally was like on a dating show, and also he was kind of everywhere with his last ex-girlfriend, Kayla Nicole, who I think is mainly known for being Travis Kelce's girlfriend before he started dating Taylor Swift. So I was listening to that song and I was like, what's the necessity to talk about his exes and how he was like not understanding why his relationships weren't working when he was giving it all he had, when you could just talk about yourself? I don't know, like we don't exist in vacuums. Like there's everything that we do, all the interpersonal relationships that we have are impacted by the politics of the world that we live in. And I think the main problem that I have with the verse is that it sets up his ex as the problem when there could have been any other number of issues in their relationship. But the idea is like, oh, you're starving till you're not. I was the food that you needed to feed yourself and finally feel full. And she was too busy in that phone. Like she wasn't enough for you. I don't know. It's kind of like weird and gloaty. And this is where the really too woke part comes in because I started to think about the color imagery in the chorus and I was like, girl. So after she says that thing about how Travis's ex wasn't enough for him, you know, you're starving till you're not, whatever. The chorus is, and that's when I told you, it's all right. You were dancing through the lightning strikes, sleepless in the onyx night, but now the sky is opalite. Oh my lord, never made anyone like you before. You had to make your own sunshine, but now the sky is opalite. Which is this kind of weird mixed metaphor about like the darkness of the night, which was both of their like respective past relationships, and now that they've made each other the way that like people make opalite, because opalite is a man-made stone, they're in the sunrise slash sun. It's a weird metaphor, but I'll just say this. The phrase "the sun never sets on the English Empire" wasn't just impactful because it brought to mind the literal fact that like the English Empire spanned the entire globe, right? The sun would literally never set on it. It was also because of the insinuation that through bringing their whiteness to these places that they were colonizing, the English Empire was bringing light to the darkness. The onyx night, if you will. I just think that is a crazy metaphor to have in a song where you are obliquely referencing the black ex-partner of your current fiance. I feel especially off-put by like a need that some people have to like almost be like, oh, I'm better for you than your ex, or I'm better than your ex, or just like insinuate like the ghost of the ex is always in the room with us. It makes me wonder if there's like a weird sense of gratification and like joy that comes in the fact that like, oh, he spent his whole career dating all of these black women and he thought he was going to end up with one of them, but no, it's me and I can't wait to give him some white babies. And this is not something that is like exclusive to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, right? This is an entire archetype of white person / white couple. And I say this as someone who has had experience dating people outside of my race and being left for a white woman. Because of that experience, I was listening to this song, and the only thing that I could think about after that verse was Kayla. You were with this man for 4.5, 5 years, right? And then after you break up, not only do you have to keep seeing him because he's like one of the most famous football players in the country, but then he starts dating the most famous pop star in the world. And you have to watch everyone celebrate the fact that he has started dating the most famous pop star in the world. And there's this underlying implication that part of the reason that that relationship is good and worth celebrating is because she has saved him from Black women that he was previously interested in. And this is an archetype of man, right? The white man who dates Black women until he's ready to settle down and procreate, and then all of a sudden he pulls a white girlfriend out of his ass. There's a season 1 episode of Law & Order SVU about this. Like, this is a tale as old as time. But there was just something about that verse being included on the song that felt almost like being a sore winner or kind of like punching down to me. And I was like, oh, I don't like this. Which is sad because everyone that I know, like a lot of people that I know, they're like, yeah, the album sucks, but this is my favorite song on it. And I'm like, well, I'm Black and traumatized, so that's not the case. I just find it kind of like sad and also embarrassing. Like, why do you have to compare yourself to this woman who is not with this man anymore? And who clearly there was something wrong in their relationship, even if it wasn't just that she was in her phone, but like they're not together anymore for a reason. Why are you writing about her? You could have just not done that.
Travis Kelce dating Taylor Swift after he has dated Black women is the exact reason why people say who you date is a political choice. Because up until this point, Taylor has been positioned as this liberal white woman. She's, for the girls and for the people. And then now suddenly you're telling me that her new album and her lyrics are riddled with white conservative, low-key microaggression, low-key cis, because her man currently has an affinity for Black women. And I want you guys to understand that this is rooted in the fact that white women are always, or perceived to always be, so centered. And so surely she has to be the choice, and surely she has to be the one that he's desiring. And so when you partner with a man when you are not his preference, the default thing that women do is, I'm going to disparage the woman that he likes, as opposed to being with someone who actually likes you, where you are the preference. This goes for all women, not just for Black women, because we have that conversation a lot. Taylor, let's listen. The root of the issue is Taylor can't get over the fact that her man, her fiance, her boo, my man has a preference for Black women. He has an affinity for Black women, and she will never be that. And so because white women historically have always been centered, have always been the preference, have always been the standard of beauty, like it just she cannot function. It's like making her brain go haywire. You get what I'm saying? And this is why it's so important to partner with a man where you are the preference, Taylor. Listen, come close. This is the conversation we have a lot over here. So what I want us to pay attention to is because prior to all of this, Taylor Swift was a liberal woman who liked country music and cats, apparently. Now suddenly you're saying that her lyrics are riddled with nationalist, conservative, trad wife lyrics? Since when? Now that she's partnered with this man, she can't fathom not being the preference, not being the first choice. Not only is she white and considered conventionally desirable, she's also very rich. But her man like them niggas. And so now the only thing she can do is disparage the type of woman that he is actually attracted to, because her brain just can't compute. And a lot of women do this, not just white women. And I don't want to speak out of turn because clearly he loves her, she loves him and everything like this. But it's no secret. He probably like a little, chip on his dip. He like a little piece of chocolate. She will never be that. And so when we talk about these women who are liberals and feminists and mama girl, when she's an ally, we all know that you can't always go too deep. You can't always go too deep because sometimes, and especially when it's involving a man, especially when that woman somehow she feels like, has a leg up or something that she can't even control or change, you will quickly see how shit can get real. Okay? Because never in a million years did I ever think that we would hear the rebrand of Taylor Swift be associated with trad wife and trad life. And don't get me wrong, she's in love. She's going to do the marriage thing and she wants to cook and she wants to be married. That's fine. But the comparisons, Sister Taylor, we're clocking everything. Taylor's one of those girls that when she get in front of a man, she get she acting funny. Don't be scared. Don't get shaky, Taylor.
So I did a little research, right? Taylor Swift has dated multiple like many men who have ended up dating black women or marrying black women or having children with black women or all three. Harry Styles, Tom Hiddleston, baby. Harry Styles is currently dating Zoe Kravitz. Hello. Calvin Harris married Vic Hope. Harry Styles, before he got with Zoe Kravitz, he was with Taylor Russell. Tom Hiddleston is actually engaged to Zawe Ashton. She's fine, honey. And then Maddie dated for quite some time FKA Twigs. Listen, I would feel some type of way if after every man that I was with, if I was a billionaire pop star princess, supposedly the beauty standard, supposedly the perfect girl next door. What you next door to? Right, this goody two-shoes wholesome image. All of these men dated you, right? And you wrote songs about all of them. You are notably obsessed with them, right? And they all dated or married or have children with black women. Taylor, it's giving that you're insecure. You are obsessed with your exes. You are obsessed with black women. And the fact that your current fiance was in a very lengthy relationship and had other prior relationships with only black women, I feel like you think you achieved some type of ending to the mythos of your life. And I'm glad that you feel good that you're engaged. You should. That's where you should be enjoying. But instead, you made it a point to make an album where you are interpolating black music, and then Stevie Wonder and Jackson 5 at that. Girl, sit all the way down, okay? Then you are always taking jabs, little digs at Kayla Nicole. This woman is not doing shit to you and not saying shit to or about y'all, but y'all stay coming for her. Your album is less than, okay? You're a great writer, sure. But yeah, it's weird. It's definitely weird. And now that I know this about your dating history, it makes sense. It makes sense. Ooh, baby, it makes sense. Ooh.
The real reason why Taylor Swift is mad is because Taylor Swift wanted the black version of
Like, this wouldn't make y'all mad. This wouldn't make y'all mad that the one on the right is what you think you get in, and then the one on the left is what you get.
As someone who has never liked Taylor Swift, I feel vindicated that this reckoning is happening, one. And two, she literally was dating a neo potsy / man who liked to watch porn that brutalized black women. Like, must we not forget? That man literally was doing high lures, as well as sitting on a podcast talking about how he likes to master to black women being brutalized. And I did a little deep dive when all this information came out and looked at the production company that shoots this explicit porn. The content was absolutely disgusting, dehumanizing. And then also there were a lot of actresses who worked for that company that are suing because they said they were raped on set, shooting said porn that this man liked to get off on. No, you're probably like, what does this have to do with Taylor Swift? Like, she didn't do those things. It was her boyfriend, whatever. That's the point. Like, she's laying down with associating with men who are disgusting, racist. And she never spoke out or speaks about anything. And now she's dating like a whole man who used to cosplay as black, which I think is crazy. Clearly, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, but after the Matt Healy situation, I became like her biggest op because I'm just like, I think there's something so sinister about women who can lay down with men who are openly racist and not say a thing, not denounce it. And you have black Swifties, I think. I don't. Now with all that out the way, like I haven't listened to a Taylor Swift album since I was like in high school, maybe even early college when it was the country songs. I did buy Blank Space on iTunes for 99 cents, however many years ago that was, but haven't really been listening to the music because I agree with all the discourse. I have been seeing that there has been no evolution in the musics, in the lyrics, like nothing. I know I sound like a hater, but I had sympathy for her when the Kanye West thing happened in like 2008 at the MTV Music Awards. I was in like 8th grade, but Kanye was right. It was a foreshadow. Him saying Beyonce had the best album of all time, and people are now sitting on this app saying Beyonce is the better artist. Why is Taylor Swift and Beyonce even in the same conversation? Beyonce took forever to freaking get like what the album of the year, and Taylor Swift was winning it in 2008. He was right. She has done a very good job at marketing and branding herself as a girl, a 36-year-old girl, and her fan base. I honestly, no offense to Swifties, I put them in the same category as Disney adults. Like, I can't explain it. I don't know the psychology behind it. I think Taylor Swift is the perfect case study for a very specific type of white womanhood where like mediocre at best, no disrespect, but to be compared to Beyonce, but also how she's treated with like white glove service, which is how she's portrayed her own brand, right? Like little high school girl, dainty, and she has Travis Kelce, like the football captain, or I don't listen to the music. That's what I hear is the gist of like how her music sounds. But she's handled like a child and protected as such throughout like so much controversy with that Matt Healy situation, one. But two, even like her racist fan base, and people are going to say that was not her fault, who are like going after Kayla, Nicole. Like it truly is a reflection of who the Swifties are. I'm sorry. The rotten apples ruin it for everybody. Anyway, my dislike is not towards the music. It's for how she's like operated and moved throughout the years that I haven't forgot about Matt Healy, and I will never forget. And honestly, you have to be a sick son of a bitch to lay down with a man like that. I'm sorry.
Let's jump into my favorite part of all of the content I post on YouTube. And that's just my thoughts, where I get to kind of express what I feel about whatever we have read or gone over. So let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. So as a follow-up, I wanted to give a walk down Taylor Swift's dating lane. I want to make a disclaimer up front. I do not hate or despise or dislike Taylor Swift as a person. I don't know this woman. I'm not maybe the biggest fan of her music, but I don't hate her. The purpose of me making these videos is to highlight behaviors that are very problematic in today's society and contribute to a very real narrative and harmful treatment of Black women. So Opalite is just the most in your face example of this behavior. But those of you who are Swifties or Taylor Swift fans, please take this to heart and observe and reflect upon your own behaviors in society, specifically towards Black women. So let's begin. Harry Styles of One Direction dated Taylor Swift from late 2012 to early 2013. Their relationship inspired some songs like Style and Out of the Woods from her 1989 album. Fast forward, he has dated two biracial women. Actress Taylor Russell, a Canadian and Indigenous actress, so she is melanated. She appears to be a woman of color. And now he has been linked to Zoe Kravitz, who is the daughter of the legendary rocker Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet. She is biracial and she is half Black. So after Taylor, he went on to date two women of color, and now particularly he is dating a Black woman. Producer and DJ Calvin Harris. Taylor Swift dated him from March 2015 to about June 2016, and this was one of her longer relationships, lasted about a year and a half. And they were private, but they did collaborate on the hit This Is What You Come For. This Is What You Come For. And now Calvin Harris is married to Vic Hope. She is a very beautiful, melanated, half Indian, half British TV and radio host in the UK. She is a woman of color. This is a clear shift for him from him dating Taylor Swift, the all-American white girl. So Taylor Swift's breakup, if you can't tell so far, has been noted by a shift in who the men she previously was linked to, who they have dated. Now, for a shorter relationship is actor Tom Hiddleston. He is the British actor who is most notably known for his roles as Loki in the Marvel series. They dated from about June to September 2016, very short-lived, and he is remembered for the I Heart TS tank top moment. They were dubbed Heidel Swift for a quick minute, but now he is engaged to the visibly melanated actress, also UK actress Zawe Ashton. They have a child together that they have in 2022, and they're reportedly expecting another child as of fall 2025. Once again, the pattern continues. Now, here is a very problematic and I think eye-opening example of someone she dated. So Matt Healy is a musician, and they dated around 2014, and then they were linked again in like May to June 2023. And this man was a walking red flag. He is accused of making racist remarks, mocking black artists, performing Nazi gestures to the mustache man of 1940s Germany and World War II, and all of that horrible savagery. As well as he is reported in the one TikTok clip. I can't substantiate these claims, but if this is true, this is eye-opening, this is scary, and it's telling. He likes to consume explicit adult content, specifically around scenarios that are degrading, dehumanizing, disrespectful, and racist toward black women, where black women are facing hurt or harm in these sexual acts. And then that studio who produces that content is supposedly being sued by the black women, adult actresses who were participating because they were sexually assaulted, etc. And if this is the type of energy that she thought was okay, because she didn't deal with this man once, she dealt with this man twice, and he has done very problematic things publicly. But I find it extremely hard to believe that Taylor Swift did not know he had a penchant for this, and they never pillow talked about this, because if this is something he likes to consume, I would believe it came out in their private moments. And she, at minimum, was aware, because one thing Taylor Swift is not a stupid woman. You don't become a billionaire being not smart. This woman is very intelligent. Regardless of my opinion on her, she is intelligent. She knows her market. She knows her fans, and she has been able to be extremely successful in the lane that she chose. And their breakup wasn't even because they didn't get along. It was because the machine behind Taylor Swift, her management team, said that he was bad for her image, because if he was doing very egregious and racial, just terrible things to attack people of color, black artists, and women, if this private stuff is to be believed. So here's the pattern that I need people to see the bigger picture. If you are a fan of Taylor Swift, you likely hold the same sentiments as her, consciously or unconsciously, because we like the people oftentimes that resonate with us on a very deep core level. As I always say about Taylor Swift, she is the ultimate white girl. So if white girls and white women see themselves in her, they see these parts too, and they consciously or unconsciously resonate with it. So Taylor sees the pattern of her exes dealing with melanated women, non-white women, okay? And in particular, the ones who have gone on to deal with black women. And I believe even Matt Healy has been linked to a Mexican model for a time, which is very startling and troubling. So she has this history and pattern of men she's dated dealing with black women. Now she's with an NFL player who had a very clear history of dating and dealing with black women before her. And she's coming out with these songs that have a lot of microaggression contained in them, very passive hostility, very play white fragility, femininity. And like I said, she's the ultimate white girl. She knows how to play that role well, all the while taking shots at women who are not trying to do anything to her. But this is deeply rooted in her own sense of racism, bigotry, and ideologies about black women being lesser than. This is my opinion, and this is what she's portraying. And to me, it's a dog whistle to her fans who are going out and attacking Kayla Nicole, who are attacking and espousing very hateful and terrible things online, okay? So her consistent pattern of allowing this, especially towards black women, says a lot about her. This messaging is clear that she is comfortable in that space. So if you are a Taylor Swift fan and you support her, I need you to take a step back and look at your own ideologies and viewpoints on people of different backgrounds, especially black women, and why you think it's okay to freely attack black women about them just existing in a space and you thinking you are the beauty standard and there's something wrong with Black women. If you don't like someone or aren't attracted to them, leave them alone. There's no need for this behavior. And you saying you're a Swiftie and then doing all of this says so much about you, but it says even more about her because she's never checked her fans. So I really wanted to make this because, yes, the main subject is about Taylor Swift, but the bigger issue is about what she is allowing and what people fall into claiming ignorance, but I think they're very aware. Not everyone has Taylor Swift's fame and money, we understand that, or influence, but if you are behaving like this on a smaller scale, if you look at your own dating life and patterns, if you have dated someone and they have, after you have gone on to date somebody of a different background, different whatever, and you feel the need to attack them or you feel you're better than that person, you are the problem. Your ideology is a problem. Your bigotry, your racism, your prejudices are a problem and you need to unpack that. Taylor Swift is 35 years old and she needs to really, she has the resources. She needs to go and unpack that with a professional who can help her do so. This is not about mental illness. This is about an ideology that she perpetuates in a space she's very comfortable in. And people need to be concerned if they consume her music and they're just as comfortable in that space and just as comfortable attacking. So let me know your thoughts about this one below because I wanted to give a follow-up. I wanted to basically make it very clear. I don't hate Taylor Swift. I don't think she's a bad person, but I think she is a mirror of how a lot of white women feel in society about Black women, and they just feel Black women are easy targets. And I think that's exactly what Taylor Swift is doing with Opalite on her newest album, and it's exactly how a lot of white girls and white women behave in this society towards Black women. You want to be problematic and attack people who likely have never paid attention or brought any hurt and harm to you, and you feel totally justified. That mindset is problematic, it's harmful, and it is going to continue to be a problem in society until people take accountability for the way they feel. So let me know your thoughts below on this. I wanted to take this in a different direction just to close the loop here. If this conversation maybe made you think deeper about love, power, and preference, I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to join my exclusive coffee community, where we go even deeper into topics like dating dynamics, emotional maturity, and modern femininity. Over there, we unpack what songs like this really reveal about society, what behaviors like this really reveal about a person, and how to protect your peace in the process. The link's in the description below. Let's keep the dialogue growing.